yeah, you had already at that point like made the mental shift that that these things are bearer instruments, that they are not issued by the government, that while the price in as expressed in dollars can fluctuate, they are what they are. One Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. I think Saylor likes to say that.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, it's they talk about cycle swings that go down like 80%. I haven't lived through the wildest ones, but people ask me, "Are you stacking?" I'm like, well, actually, I'm spending more time trying to earn in Bitcoin.
I like that.
When you earn in Bitcoin and the price is down, you get more Bitcoin for the time, because people are saying, well, I would have given him, let's just say, $5,000 for this project or something. And when you pay in Bitcoin, you'll be at, when it's at these depressed levels, it's like buying, right? It's stacking.
Yeah,
So
I kind of think about it like this a little bit. When the price is low, the USD Bitcoin price, it's a great time to buy. It's cheap, you can buy it. And when the price is high, it's a good time to shave a little off. Maybe you want to get yourself a little lifestyle improvement. You want to buy something for your kids, your family, or yourself. Shave a little bit
yeah,
off. Treat yourself.
you know, a lot of people when they and I it hasn't worked out for me, but a lot of people will, they'll buy at some low entry point or decent entry point. It'll go, maybe 2x up, and then they'll say, you know what? I'm going to sell half. I'm going to recover every bit of fiat I put into this, and that's it. I'm like mentally I'm even. I put in, I got out exactly the same. So in effect, I've got like half that Bitcoin stash like free.
Yeah, house
Well,
money,
free.
right? House money.
Yeah, it's money that, and I think that's great from a psychological point, because I think mentally you can just put that aside. It's like that, just like it's as though a little gift rained down from heaven, and it's like that's my little chunk, and it's sitting there. Um, because I think when if you haven't kind of gone through that mental exercise and sold it to kind of capture that gain, right? Because if you never sell, I mean, and you're always stacking, you always have that kind of inner tension, right?
Mm.
That's like, man, it's like I could have, it went down, like I got to wait again. It's like I put money in. It's like I could have gotten it out. I could have been in a place where I was break even. Um, Not that it really is any different, but it's like I think like just the peace of having done that, then like you can say, okay, now let me just like do another stack. Let me do some more acquisition.
Mm.
Now that it's down, that one over here is like in my forever pile, and I'll just like see if I can do it again. And if I can't, or I'm just not timing it right or whatever it is, it's like I'll always have that confidence. Like, well, I played it right at least once, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean
I'm
that
not there.
it can relieve a lot of stress and make people feel better if you're still thinking in the dollar terms. Now, I know we all use dollars, we all spend in dollars and everything, but maybe if you have a job or you're earning another way, like you said, earning Bitcoin, maybe if you're earning cash doing something else, you could just keep it in there as savings. I've made tons of mistakes too doing all this types of stuff. Uh, it's
Yeah,
like the
everybody
regret
does.
though when you what's that?
Yeah, I think everybody does. Everybody has to
Yeah,
like kind
everyone
of
does. It's just the
has to
regret
play
though.
around.
When it dips, you're
Yeah,
like, "Ooh, I could have." What could have
yeah,
been? And like kind of what you're saying, I think when it goes up, you're like, "Ooh, what could have been? What could I have, splurged
yeah.
on? What could I have
I know.
bought?"
I know. In 2000, somewhere in 2001, I was like, I had some options in stock, options and stuff in a startup company that I had worked for, and I was like, there was like about a 2 week period where I was like, ooh, maybe I could retire. This would be awesome. And then like a week later, I was like, oh, I guess I can't retire anymore. Maybe it'll go up again, because it got hammered in the whole .com bust, right?
Oh man, yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
I think it's going to be
Anyway,
a lot of people. We still value our wealth or our day-to-day life, what we can afford in
Yeah.
dollars, because that's what we use. So I think, I don't know how it's going to happen, but once we can make Bitcoin accepted broadly, that it's just going to change like that. I think this is like the slow buildup. It's kind of like the scale where we're just stacking all these things on the Bitcoin side, and as soon as
Hmm.
it gets heavy enough, it's just going to go down,
Hmm.
and then it's just going to feel like it's instant, where, oh, now all of a sudden everyone knows Bitcoin's valuable, everyone wants Bitcoin, everyone accepts Bitcoin, everyone wishes they had Bitcoin. But right now it's
Hmm.
just the slow stacking game. So
Yeah. I'm, uh, I mean, I guess one thing is what do you think of this? If you went to a store today and everything was priced in Bitcoin, like, just a hardware store or something like that, right? And like you're like, okay, what's going on here? You talk to the store owner, and he's like, Bitcoin's where it's going. Everything's priced in Bitcoin. It's like, it is what it is. It's like, I'm not changing the price. This is what it is. This is what it's in Bitcoin. I mean, would you patronize that store, and like, would it change your behavior knowing that, a gallon of house paint is going to cost me, you know, whatever, let's just say 100,000 sats. Today, I can buy it today. I might not use it all today, but if I know I'm going to have to paint something else, and I'm going to need 2 gallons, it's like, well, I'd rather just buy it when I need it. I know it's going to be 100,000 sats, a year from now when I need it. Um, I don't have to worry about the price going up or down in terms of sats. So I don't have to, like, I don't have to store it. I don't have to anticipate the price going up, you know. Oh, do I buy it now and then, like, maybe I can't use it all? Maybe it goes bad if it's something that does go bad, before I have a chance to use it. I don't know. What do I think? Do I have to, like, I don't have to, like, worry about, well, what if something happens in the paint industry and suddenly I have to, like, that cost of that gallon of paint is going to be double when I
mhm.
need it a year from now. You don't have to worry about any of that. It's like, it is what it is, what the guy said it was. Um, Now, he may have a hard time managing his suppliers if they're still dealing with dollars, but, and he might, make more money or make less money. But in terms of his interaction with you, it's going to be super consistent and predictable, right? So does that change your behavior in interacting with that vendor, that store?
I would 100% patronize it. I would make it a priority. I would go out of my way to go to this guy's hardware store. I would just put, $1,000 on a Lightning mobile wallet on my phone, like, let's say 10,000 sats, 100,000 satoshis, whatever it is. And that's the thing too. We
Hmm.
got to start pricing it. We're so used to saying, "Oh, a thousand
Right.
bucks. I'll put $1,000." Even I'm guilty of
You
that.
just said it. You
I just
just
said
said
it. Right? I just said it.
it.
So you have to be like, well, I'll put 100,000 satoshis, 200,000 satoshis on my wallet, and then I'll just buy whatever. And at the end of the week or at the end of the month, I'll just, well, if I'm doing a stack, weekly, monthly, whatever it is, I just add that up. I'll look at my wallet and say, all right, I spent 20,000 satoshis. Well, I'm going to buy 20,000 more satoshis. So spend and replace. We just
Yeah.
do it like that. But I definitely think it's a good idea to have a Lightning wallet on your phone. $1,000, $500, $100, whatever it is. And yeah, go to these stores and ask these people, hey, you accept Bitcoin? I'm ready to pay right now with my phone.
Yeah. I mean, because we kind of live in this world where there's the emergence of Bitcoin, and I mean, with the Square announcement that they're
Hmm.
going to enable Bitcoin acceptance across all their, they say, eligible terminals. I think some states have some regulations that might prevent that, but it seems like it's pretty nationwide that they're
Hmm.
going to open it up. So you just be able to wander up to any store, and if it says, a Square terminal there, you can just, pay with Lightning payment or something. But it's this mentality of, like you say, pricing it in sats. It's so hard. Can you imagine? Just imagine like growing up your whole life, if it had been like in a Bitcoin denominated world. So, for instance, you could look at something like, I mean, over your life experience, you kind of get a gut sense of things,
Mm,
right? So, for instance, a carton of like a gallon of milk, like say it was always priced at like 2,000 sats,
right.
$2. Right. Well, I see. I did it.
Yeah.
Just say
Yeah.
2,000 sats.
It's
Just
hard.
say 2,000 sats. It's like I go to the grocery store. I'm gonna get a gallon. I need a gallon of milk. I'm gonna buy a gallon of milk. 2,000 sats. Like when you're 10 years old, you know, going in there with your parents. Oh, go grab some milk. You grabbing it off the thing. You see the price, 2,000 sats. As you're a young adult in college, it's like, oh, we need some milk for the Post Krispies or whatever. You go to the store, 2,000 sats. You're buying milk for your family, of five or whatever. You go to the store, gallon of milk, 2,000 sats. It's like for your whole life, a gallon of milk has been 2,000 sats. And in the future, 10 years from now, when you need a gallon of milk, it's going to be 2,000 sats. So I can say, well, I mean, what are my expenses? What's my daily life need
Mm,
with rent, with gas, with, food and everything? I mean, it would be pretty easy to get a sense of it. Applies to other things, right? It's like a new car, a reasonable car. I mean, you go back and look at the ads of in the 40s and 50s, and like
yeah.
a new car was like, $1,000, $1,500, right? So say a new car is, let's just say, you know, 50,000 sats. No, wait, uh, well, say 50,000. It's that 5 million sats.
500,000?
Yeah. Well, anyway, whatever it is, it's like just like as a kid, you're looking through magazines. Ooh, that's the car I want. How much does it cost? And
Mm,
then you get to be a young adult. Oh, I need to get a beater car for this, but then I know how much I'm going to need to earn for the car I really want. I mean, you build up kind of just a gut sense of what things cost. A single family home, might be, 2 Bitcoin or something like that. If it's that way your whole life, then you just get a sense of what it costs, so that if you're wandering down the street one day and somebody's selling that car that you always wanted, and it's like, what it's should be costing. If it's like less than that, you're like, oh man, that's a deal.
mhm,
It's like intuitively,
mhm.
if the house that you've been looking for drops in price, or you thinking, oh, well, maybe if we move to another town and bought a similar house, let's go look and see what the prices of those things are. Oh, well, they're actually, significantly cheaper, because you've had this whole lifespan of kind of building up norms of prices of things that is very consistent. Now, in a fiat world, everything's changing. It's like going up like 2%, 3%. You know, they do all sorts of games where they'll like drop the price of one thing so that you get in the store and buy other things and don't really think about, what you're throwing in the cart. You get to the checkout, you're just like, yeah, just like, let's get out of here. You don't really like think about it, right? On a day-to-day basis. You're not always like calculating like how much did it go up from last time I was here, you know maybe I'm in like driving to California. It's like, oh man, California has like X amount of tax, extra $5 extra on their gas. That's why it's cost. I mean, none of these games you have to deal with. Like life, just in understanding the value and cost of things, is just so much simpler. Just that alone, I think, is a big improvement, right?
Yeah, Bitcoin there's only 21 million. It's a fixed supply. We've never seen this before. We think that Bitcoin's volatile, it's 60,000, 125,000, but it's actually the dollar that's volatile. Bitcoin's stable. There's only 21 million. So
Yep.
it's definitely a mind screw when people try to come to that realization. But the cool thing about Bitcoin, it's even cooler than that, where, yeah, you might save that $50,000 for that car, but things are going to get cheaper over time in Bitcoin. It's going to cost less and less Bitcoin. So you're saving for that 50,000, and instead of in dollars, it gets 100,000, it goes up. So it's running away from you. In Bitcoin, as you're saving towards that 50,000, the price of goods and services are coming down. They're becoming cheaper because now the technology is easier to create cars, easier to produce things. And Bitcoin is just remaining fixed, scarce, measuring that technological advancement. Whereas now we just have people willy-nilly creating dollars and getting rich at the expense of everybody else who simply doesn't know.
Yeah, Jeff Booth, author of The Price of Tomorrow, it's a great read.
Yep.
I recommend to anyone in this space that's interested.
I love that book.
I mean, he envisions a future where depreciation is the norm, that things do, like, not just in Bitcoin terms, but in just value terms, get cheaper and cheaper, that it takes less resource or there's just efficiencies that technology drives out of the cost of things. And I think that the best evidence of this is when you go to Costco, what's the first thing you see when you walk in the door?
The big screen TVs.
The big screen TV. And what's the first thing you say? They have this huge TV, and which is like a lot bigger than your TV for some reason, and then you see the price and you're like, man, price of TVs is like getting pretty good. I mean, I can get that. I could for a few $100, I can like have all my friends over and watch the game on something like that. And like the first thing that sets your price, kind of sensibility, like as you're walking in the door. And then, everything else is like
seems
getting
cheap,
more
right?
expensive. Yeah. Well, it's like, I think they try to like kind of set you up for like, oh, well, things are cheap here, as a general sense. And then you start throwing like, 20 packs of tuna in your basket and stuff like that. So without even looking at the price, right? So yeah, it's crazy. I'm actually, I want a project that we'll talk about coming up soon. I'm actually envisioning a mobile app where you can easily see a quantity in dollar, Bitcoin, and a tokenized gold. So and make it easy to kind of compare and flip between, like, flip the denominator, like see what see how things have changed in terms of Bitcoin, in terms of gold, in terms of like US dollar stablecoin. Why gold? Well, because gold kind of fits this like middle ground between, fiat world and the Bitcoin world. And a lot of people already have a gut instinct that gold kind of is the long-term historical store of value. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Samson Mao, I think he talked about that. He was with his Aqua wallet, where he has like the Tether or the tokens, USDT, whatever he's using. There's a bunch of these stable coins, stably losing value. But he has that where you could see the value of Bitcoin increasing and the value of these other coins decreasing. You kind of have that contrast. You could see the difference between the two, and that'll help people visualize over time. They'll see that Bitcoin's actually extremely valuable. Yeah,
I think when I would probably build some sort of like kind of guidance around this and say, like, look, when you first get this, try an experiment, like get $10 worth of stable coin, $10 worth of gold, and $10 worth of Bitcoin all at the same time. And then just see what changes over time. Just like see how they kind of, relate to each other. That way you can, you can just always glance at it. It's like, kind of have a gut sense of where things stand, So more about that later. Yeah.
It's such a hard concept, even for me being in this space for a little bit and just trying to wrap my mind around it and explain it to people. It's so hard to measure the value of things with an inflating supply. That's like a measuring stick, like a ruler that just the dimensions keep changing. It creates, it's 12 inches for a foot. Now it's 16 inches because the money supply increases. And just because we're so used to using the dollar, we think inflation is normal. It's needed for an economy. Otherwise, people would hoard their cash. It's
Hmm.
just so hard. We think Bitcoin's the unstable roller coaster because we're measuring from the unstable roller coaster, and everything else is going up and down and just insane. It's so hard for to
Yeah,
understand.
I struggle for the best analogy that will reach people that
Hmm.
haven't started thinking about this. And I mean, diamonds, gold, that's just like people don't interact it with enough. Maybe land. It's like people usually have a pretty decent sense of land and how land, if it's just, if its purpose is kind of static over time, like
Hmm.
farmland or something, right? Or a lot in a city that's undeveloped.
Maybe
So
even
you
real
kind
estate,
of,
right?
well, real
Homes.
estate is land and yeah, real estate. I
Hmm.
think the those are like probably the one of the types of things that people kind of have a gut instinct for, right? But uh, they, they don't have. There's so many variables
Yep.
that apply, so it's not a perfect kind of static thing because there's always taxes. There's always like, a threat of eminent domain. There's like these are counterparty risks. There's like, what if it's under a certain set of bylaws or rules and you don't do something, then you have extra liability. If somebody slips on your sidewalk and, it's like it's not perfect, but it is something that most people who haven't even started thinking about this stuff, you know, they've been taught throughout their lives, like, oh, go get a job, earn some money, save some money, buy a house,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So that's kind of built into the societal norm already. And if you can kind of build a metaphor on that people can kind of get, I mean, because like people think, oh, my value of my house is going up and going up. It's like my
Hmm.
nest egg.
Hmm.
People think about it that way. It's probably not the best nest egg, but I used to think that way. But it's like now I'm like, man, if I could get rid of it completely and just like know that my rent was going to be X Bitcoin per month forever and I would never have to worry about it, I would just stock up enough to like figure out
Yeah.
how long I'm going to live, how many months am I going to live, how much Bitcoin does that represent? As soon as I got that stack, I'm like, I'm good.
You'd have
But you can't
security.
do that.
Yep.
But you can't do that because you don't know what that need is going to be, or the change, or the fact that the city's going to hike the tax or
Hmm.
change the millage rate of your tax base. And yeah, it's a mess
Also,
anyway.
think about this too, where how our brains work, where we're both sides of that transaction, two sides of the same coin. Where we're happy when the value of our house goes up. We're like, heck yeah, I love it. My house is worth more dollars. I'm getting rich, or I'm making more
Yeah,
value here. But then
yeah.
we get pissed and we complain about the price of other houses that we want to buy. That everything's going up in price. Isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
yeah. In the housing market, it's like if you're like buying and selling within the same kind of window, it's like,
Doesn't
I
matter.
mean, it doesn't matter because like where you're going to maybe get some advantage on one side of the trans deal, you're going to lose
Yep.
on the other side, and you have all the transaction costs too. It's only when you like so many things, when you buy and hold over time, where you can stretch that buy event from the sell event
Mhm.
in a long time, where now the market's had a chance to like maybe get you some value creation.
Or
Again,
multiples.
it's all,
That's why
yeah.
the rich get richer, because one guy that has one house and he's just trading to another house, he's not really gaining much. It's the same thing. But one guy that can buy 1,000 houses, he's making a huge deal because now he's multiplying his gain across 1,000.